Hi, I'm Hungrybox, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 192, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, November 17th, 2019. The time, 7:38 p.m. Central Time. I say it once, I'll say it again, because I believe it. I wouldn't say it if I didn't. This is going to be the best episode ever. As we got e-news, as we always do, as we end the show with topics we just don't have time or the will to get through a full segment on. The Esports Awards were last night. Anuj and I were there, so we'll tell you all about it. We have Ben Goldhaber on the show, pre-recorded interview, so you can catch that. He is the CEO of Juked.gg. We've talked about it before on the show. It's the website that aggregates all of your esports watching on one website. So we had him on the show, tell us about the product and everything going on there. And of course, it's Monday, so you know we got the Yikes of the week locked and loaded, hot and ready for you. But before we do that, let's say hello to the crew. Hello. My name is Tim. I'm your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj.
God bless, dude. It's a beautiful Sunday over here. Cowboys-Lions head-to-head, which, for those of you that don't know, that's Tim's favorite team versus my favorite team, and a little head ski right there. And
the mediocre
we all
bowl.
know who,
it's the mediocre bowl.
The better of the two worst teams won, so I'll take that, I guess, for today.
Hey man, take it from a Lions fan. You take that W however you can. Let's not get picky here. Don't ignore the fact that you almost lost to a backup QB. And Jason Witten got away with like 4 penalties in that last drive on one play. We're going to ignore that though, because you got the W, and that's what matters. And we're one step closer to a top draft pick. So that's, as a Lions fan, really the most exciting thing I go through every year is a good draft pick that you will eventually just destroy and blunder, or you get like a future Hall of Famer who retires in like 6 years because he's sick of playing in Detroit and it just sucks the will out of him to play. Thus is life of a Detroit Lions fan. But that's traditional sports, Anuj. That's for jocks and meatheads. We're not that. No way. We're esports people. Right? Those two worlds can't cross. I feel like we're past that point.
I think so.
I feel like it's okay to like both, despite what some people might tell you. Let's get into it. We have Yikes of the week. Would you like to start, or would you like me?
I got a juicy one. Let me lead us off here, because this is...
Go for it.
This is like so... It's so esports. Basically, Rainbow Six players were playing in their pro league. I believe it was like their pro league finals. It was out in Japan. They were, working with ESL. ESL was so kind. They were kind enough to be like, hey, guys, send us your visa paperwork. We'll file it for you. We'll take care of this. We're the good guys. Let us help. So all these players, these teams, management, send them all the paperwork. ESL emails them few weeks now before the event and was like, you know what? We don't really have the time to do this anymore. So if y'all could like take care of this now, that would be great. So obviously there was like a big rush to try and get all these players' visas approved. A lot of communication going back and forth between ESL and teams, trying to figure out where the miscommunication was. now it has come to light that there are emails, text, and Discord messages out there kind of showing ESL's explanation on how they should go about getting across this Japanese border patrol.
That's always my favorite thing, though, is that all this always comes down to, well, it was where was the miscommunication? Fool, there was no miscommunication. You said you would do it, and then you didn't. Like,
they doubled down on this. It gets better.
There was no misunderstanding.
Teams are asking them, well, what do we tell Border Patrol? Because, the timing isn't going to work out with some of the paperwork. ESL Poland officials let the players and teams know, hey, tell them you're there to view an event. You're coming in as a tourist. That gives you extra time on the visa so y'all can stay there a little bit longer. But you're not there to do any work. Well, Tim, as a player and management, they're there to work.
You think that sits right with them?
They, released all this information. It looks pretty bad. Ended up, some players from FaZe, I think it was like 2 or 3 players from FaZe, if I'm not mistaken, and 1 or 2 from NIP didn't get their visas in time for the event. And so all of this is just starting to come to light. But yeah, I mean, basically ESL officials told teams and players to lie to Japanese Border Patrol, saying they were there to view an event versus actually be in one and participate in one. So different type of visa, different type of paperwork needs to be filed. It could take a little bit longer.
I'd assume so taxes play differently there.
Like, yeah, like you're money-wise, you're earning an income, right? So
if you're earning income, Japan government wants to know that. That's why they don't just ask you that for fun. They're not asking you business or pleasure just because they care about your trip.
Yeah. They're not that curious, They want to know. They
don't really care. They just need to know for like legal reasons. They're not like, are you just here to have fun, guys?
It obviously affected the tournament just because, again, some players are not going to be able to play, and now it's from what I'm hearing, ESL Poland is run like a shit show for the most part. That's the word that's coming out. This is not the first time ESL Poland has put teams in this type of situation. ESL Poland is also the only one that is able to run Rainbow Six events for ESL. So again, a lot of this is like now coming out, and we'll see what the backlash is. I don't think there will be too much other than this is an embarrassment and it won't happen again just because it makes your company look crappy.
As a fan of ESL and as a Polish man myself, this makes me sad.
It's not the best look.
No, that is a major yikes, though. Like, it was a yikes at the start, right? When you said that you would file for visas, but then didn't. But then to double down and say, dude, just lie to Border Patrol.
Just lie.
Don't worry
just
about
lie. Not a big deal.
Don't worry. We'll figure it out later when you're in jail.
They'll let you in.
We'll have plenty of yeah, they'll let you in. It's getting out, which is what my concern is, right? It's I'll get through. It's just when I walk back with a check and they're like, where'd you get that? Like, you didn't come in with it.
They're walking out into the airplane with the big, like, 10 by 10 check trying to get on.
Oh, we found it in a souvenir shop. Don't worry about it. Oh, man. My yikes isn't that bad, I would say. And it's been a yikes before, but I feel like it needs to be a yikes every week until my voice is heard, Anuj. And that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare still, to this day, has no sign that the CDL is even a thing. When was Modern Warfare released?
Middle of October? I think like mid-October,
October 25th. So we are approaching a month since this game has been out. In 1 week, this game will be out for a week.
A month, yeah.
Yeah, you got me. You figured it out. And yet we still have no signs of a competitive playlist, a competitive league. Nothing. How does World War II have Battlegrounds integrated in the game and everyone loved it, right? Like, that was so badass. I think you and me even did it, right? For like 2v2s, I think we did a little bit.
Yeah.
And now we've taken such a far step back to where a month into your game's lifespan that only lasts like 8 or 9 months. Like, let's be real. Like, after that, people kind of start turning the page, especially as soon as like the league is going to wrap up. Like, no one will care. how do we still not have any support for like the people who want to play competitive?
No sign of the CDL, no competitive settings, and now it's like rumored that the battle royale should be released, like a 200-person battle royale, and like all of that just kind of blows my mind that it's not ready day one. You know, pimping out the CDL, like that's such a big part of this game. Like it could make this game iconic, right? In the sense that
Yeah.
it's the first game tied to a league. It could really make some long-lasting memories and have a lot to brag about, saying like, "Hey, we're the first game to be part of the CDL."
Yep.
And for it to not be a part of it, not have like a CDL rule set implemented into the game where, you know, I want to play in a competitive playlist and play like the pros are doing. And again, just something that should like
I'm
vomit
I'm
on the
a
screen for Pro
I'm a
League.
big proponent on what I watch is what I want to play. Like, look at Counter-Strike, look at Overwatch, League of Legends, Dota, any game out there, Super Smash Brothers, anything, right? FGC, MOBA, FPS, anything out there. If I'm watching the pro scene, there's at least an option for me to play that game type with my buddies in a playlist. Like,
Yep.
I shouldn't have to constantly look for a 10-man to make a custom room and figure out, okay, let me turn off this. Okay, nope, you can't use that gun. It's banned. So make sure everyone you don't have this scope attached. You can't use this scope now. Like, there's not just like a simple rule set to go in and just say pro settings, right? Like Halo 3 and 2, I think one of them back in the day just had MLG pro settings. You went in the game and said MLG. Like, easy as that. And it was simple. It was done. I was playing like a pro. I think Activision needs to realize that you have a league now, bros. Like, people have invested $20+ million into this thing. If I was one of these team owners at what point are you calling up the Activision's front office and being like, guys, where's my shit? Like, where's my logo in the game? Like,
Something. I wonder how it works with the publisher versus like, you know, the CDL itself. Like, how
and that's
are
very
they?
true. Like, I will play the ignorance card. I say Activision. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're to blame. I don't know if Infinity War's to blame. If the league, maybe they want to, and the league is saying, no, we're not ready to
Like,
pimp it out.
wait till the league actually goes live. I mean, there is still a little bit of time before I really get frustrated. Like in Black Ops 4, we didn't see a CDL rule set until
Or
6-7 months
CWL
into the game,
rule
right?
set.
Or CWL, whatever. But we didn't see anything until much
And,
later into the game.
let me tell you, folks, we were done with it by that point.
Yeah, we had moved on.
We've prestiged once over, and we were done with Call of Duty by the time that came out. So,
Like you say,
it needs to
9-month
happen soon.
lifespan. I think the average Call of Duty fan though really doesn't play for more than a few months, like 3 to 4 months tops.
Yeah.
Unless
Unless
and then I feel like people
unless
move
like
on.
that is your game, right? But especially now,
Yeah.
like Halo coming to PC, and
Just the gamer's life attention span is so much less. There's just so
Yeah.
many more options. So you really only have a few months to make an impression and then make me want to play for the next 6-7 months. You know, so
like I say, it's really got to come soon. It's really because the other thing too with CDL this year that's going to be different than CWL is CWL had the beauty system of like old school MLG. You and your buddies who had a Battlegrounds team could just sign up and go, right? You've been playing in these little events throughout the year. You got points. You can qualify to get to these events. You're golden, right? That's their farm system for pro teams. They don't have that now. You don't have these events. Like, you can't just sign up and go join these teams up in Minnesota, as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
So they have to have these ladders up. They can't expect people just to know to go to battlegrounds.com, right? You can't, like, we know it just because back in the day it's just MLG, and MLG was linked to Battlegrounds, and it's just, that's what they used, and that's what you know. But, like, if I was a fresh kid, say, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, really thinking, I want to do this competitively, I see these pro players and whatever, how do I do this? There's nowhere in-game talking about Battlegrounds. There's nowhere in-game talking about a competitive set. Hell, they don't even, like, unless you're like some hardcore fan, you probably don't even know there's a different rule set. You just think they don't use these guns, right?
No, that's exactly what it would be. Because even like I have friends that have come back that they haven't played, a Call of Duty game in 3-4 years. They don't remember any of that stuff, like
No,
battlegrounds and all that. That's all like secondary stuff that they
that's
would
for
have no
people
idea
who
about.
went out of their way to look for,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't know.
Kind of like
To,
Counter Strike with the 128 tick, right? We say the same thing. Like
yeah,
people go to. The only difference is 99% of the game is the same game that a pro
right,
plays,
right.
right? So,
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I guess it doesn't have to be a 1-for-1 on what the pros are playing, but I
get me close
expect
enough.
something. I expect
I
something.
don't. I don't need the GAs to be banned, right? Like that's hard because they constantly
Of
change
course.
those. But just
Plus,
to
I
have
wouldn't
the
do it
baseline,
anyways. You know,
yeah.
you know me. I agree
If
to
I'm
that
losing,
gentleman's
that
exactly.
shotgun's coming straight out.
I agree to that gentleman's agreement until you take that first hard point, and then I'll switch right back to it. Like, what bolt action rifle was banned? Oh, right. Let me switch to that one. I wouldn't even hesitate to use it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's my yikes of the week for now, though. But like I said, it will probably be my yikes of the week every week until the Activision takes their heads out of their own asses.
Hey,
to
give
do
me
it.
a 200-man battle royale, and I will be pretty damn happy. That
It will at
sounds.
least distract you. But again, that hardcore competitive community is still
Yeah.
going to be like, this is cool, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. But I am excited for our next guest on the show. Before we get to that, let me tell you about Thrive Fantasy. Thrive is your daily fantasy sports app for prop bets. You enter the code TCR upon sign-up, and you will get a clean $10 match on your first $10 deposit. You end up with $20, you bet responsibly, and you become a millionaire, maybe a billionaire. Just depends on how well you do. That is Thrive Fantasy. Our next guest on the show was the first gaming hire at Justin TV and would later become a founding member of a little website we know as Twitch. He joins us today to discuss his latest project, Juked.gg. You know it because we've talked about it on the show multiple times. It's our lifesaver, our bread and butter when it comes to weekend esports watching. So let's bring on the man in charge. Welcome to the center ring, Ben Goldhaber. Hello, sir.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for giving us the shout outs. I mean, what we're doing is like by esports fans for esports fans. So every time I hear those magical words that we're saving people time and effort and helping them discover new esports content, I get very happy. So
I ran across this. I don't even know. I mean, a couple months back, you had started tweeting about it. I was a follower of yours already. Obviously, you have an impressive resume with what you've done. And I told Tim, I was like, Tim, this is going to be our lifeline. Like this is exactly what we need. Instead of me opening up 10 different screens, trying to follow everything that's going on, it's like you guys have become my esports calendar. I mean, that's really what it's become for me. So it's great, man. We love it.
thank you, appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
One of the things I love about Juked, and for like I said, our listeners are somewhat familiar with it. It's a website that aggregates from multiple. I mean, I take it it's just the top viewed esports stream. Is it only on Twitch right now?
Yeah, actually, we've only built functionality to embed Twitch. We're working on Mixer and YouTube as well. Probably Facebook in the future, but at this point, probably 97% of every major esports events are at least on Twitch. They might be on the other platforms too, but they're also on Twitch. So
Right.
we built the Twitch functionality, and we're like, okay,
Probably a
we can
smart
move on to other
decision.
stuff.
Probably
Yeah.
a smart
But, I
way
mean,
to
we want to
start.
do everything. We want, like, I know some people prefer watching on YouTube, so we want to aggregate everything in the long
Well,
term.
and I want to pick your brain about this later because I want to stay on Juked for now, but you never know with the way these platforms are pushing, right? Like what they sign over, and who knows, maybe we'll see ESL exclusively back on a certain one, right? So that will have to kind of force your hand in stretching it out. But again,
Yeah, yeah.
the way it's aggregated and everything, it's great for people like us. Like our show, we're a multi esports show. We don't focus on one thing. We stretch it out. And I think our listeners kind of follow that trend. And it's like for the longest time, I'm not a big League of Legends guy. And you know, I like FGC events and you know, kind of like the smaller ones too, and they just get buried on Twitch, right? It's difficult to find unless you just know your routine of like the 10 different websites you looked for calendar's sake of it. Was that like an inspiration for you? Because I know you also love, you know, the smaller esports. You like FGC and StarCraft and things like that. Was this built somewhat selfishly for you?
I think most good startups are built by people who actually have that problem. So that is exactly why we built Juked. Is as esports fans, we felt this pain all the time, this annoyance that you have to go to 25 different websites, resources, subreddits, social media accounts, Discord servers, just to hope that you happen to see when things are live. So that's really the problem that we're trying to solve, despite the fact that there's like 20 plus esports out there that we're trying to cover. We're doing our best to cover every single one of them. And yeah, I totally love the long tail, I guess, of esports. Maybe not the biggest ones, but you're going to catch me watching a Smash stream, not the CSGO tournament that's happening most weekends. I'll watch the CSGO majors. I'll watch League Worlds. I'll watch the international. I'll watch all of the major stuff, no matter what the game is. But I'm more likely to be watching a fighting game or a Quake stream than a medium tier like CSGO event, I guess. Yeah.
Now, just last week, you guys went out of closed beta. Now, technically, you're in open beta, but for the sake of the conversation, you're out there, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
100%. Yeah,
unless you're
Juke.gg.
Fortnite, and you're going to be in early access for like 4 years. But right now,
it's the new normal. Yeah,
that's right. You are out there. So how has the launch been then? It's been, what was the official launch date? Wednesday?
Yeah, 8 days ago from recording of this. So yeah, we're a week in, and obviously on day one we got a bit of exposure through some press outlets. All of our good friends in the industry were helping and giving us a little signal boost, which was really, really nice and very, very much appreciated. But it's been really awesome to just get more people's hands on the product. You know, every single day we're doing everything we can to make it better. We're not where we need to be yet, but more people, more feedback means that we're going to be able to get better quicker. So, and like I said, like literally every single tweet, and believe me, I'm reading every tweet. That's like, oh my God, Juke, I just watched a StarCraft tournament for the first time in years. I haven't watched WoW in forever, or I've never watched this esport and I tuned in for the first time, or my life is so much easier following all the top games and teams that I care about, so much easier now. Every time I see that, I'm super happy. So yeah, it's been really fun to get it out to more people.
Has there been one thing I know y'all done a really good job of doing a lot of outreach and talking to your fans and asking them, you know, what can we do? What can we add? How can we make this better? Has there been one specific thing that seems to come up over and over again that either is a feature you want to add down the line or something that's just difficult to integrate at this point in time because of the technology?
Yeah, definitely. I think the number one request that we've gotten probably by far is we want ways to filter and customize Juked more to our tastes, which is honestly a topic that I'm like, I feel like we have to do well. We have to tackle this well, because there are some other apps out there that help you follow esports, and they're good. I don't want to take anything away from them. But when you sign up for these other apps, you say which games you care about, and then like I said, I watch the big Counter-Strike tournaments. I don't really watch it all the time. So as a user, when I sign up, I'm not necessarily going to say I like Counter-Strike, add it to my favorites. And then when I go to, but then every single time I ever use that app, I never see Counter-Strike ever. So like we're going to do preferences, but it's probably going to shift the order of things and not remove them altogether, because I want you to watch Evo. I want you to watch the Smash tournaments, even if you don't today.
Right. It's funny that you bring that up too. So I spoke with your partner, Chris, right? That's his name. I'm not screwing that up.
Yes,
all right, Chris.
Right.
So I spoke with him.
Chan
Man. That's how I know him, was Chan Man. But
yeah,
you're CEO now, right? So you go by your name. That's how that works.
Whatever, dude. You can call me Fish Sticks, whatever you want.
So I was talking to Chris, and obviously well respected in the esports world too. And he asked me, he was like, so what's one thing that you would like to see happen to Juke? And I said, one thing that I would not like to see is forced filters, for the exact reason that you said. Like, I enjoy going to the homepage. That's mainly what I watch most of the time, unless an event like the World Cup for Overwatch happens and they split it up between 6 different streams, and for whatever forsaken reason don't offer a multi-stream themselves to do it, right? So that's where you guys came in very handy that weekend, so I thank you for that. But I was like, I enjoy going to that homepage and seeing games that I normally wouldn't watch, but it's like, well, clearly 70,000 people are watching this. It should probably be something I'm also watching.
Yeah, we were kind of always expected that the front page would be like our doorstep, and then you go tune in to watch an individual stream. But I feel you, man. When you have, especially during those like super crazy weekends when you have like 15 live matches, which has actually happened multiple times since we've been beta testing, and like 5 of them have over 100,000 viewers. Especially when you're in a situation like that, I really like just sitting on the homepage and just, because a lot of the time when I'm watching esports, it's not like I'm sitting on the couch only watching esports.
Right.
I'm playing a game, I'm browsing Reddit, I'm on Discord, whatever. But it's like the perfect thing to have on your side monitor, and you can just kind of follow all of the action, and then peek over every once in a while and be like, oh snap, like you catch some good plays and things like that. So yeah, I like the front page a lot. I like how it came out.
Now, I know, because you guys, like you said, you're still in beta, and I have to imagine even when you're out of beta, you're going to be very open to ideas and everything. Like, that's one thing that I've noticed you guys are very active on. In fact, when I did like a beta survey, it was the next day. That's when I got the email from Chris, like asking about one of the comments I made in that. So you guys are very active in your own community, which is great. You have a Discord server, so if our listeners are interested in that, you can join the Juked Discord and be a part of that development as well. What is it then that you guys are looking for then? Like, when you're looking at branching out Juked, apart from the filters or anything like that, like, where from a business side are you like, we're stumped and we need to outsource for our fans on this one? Like, is there one particular part of the website where you're like, I know there's something that I could do here, or something like, or even like something that a fan or a user gave you an idea of, and you're like, damn, I never thought of that.
Yeah, I think the main thing that we're talking to users every single day to get their feedback on the product, and we've gotten lots and lots and lots of ideas. I think, like, not to sound conceited or whatever, but we have pretty much nothing we hear is like brand new, or it's rare to hear something that we've never even thought of before. It's just a matter of prioritizing what we build, because our backlog of products and features is growing, honestly, so much faster than we're chipping away at it. We're just constantly adding new things to the pile. So I think it's really useful to talk to users to prioritize what we build, refine things. Obviously, we've had some issues, like, I think we've got this awesome remind me feature where you can set reminders for individual matches. But honestly, we look at the data and no one's using it. So, like, talking to users, like, oh, I didn't even notice that. So, obviously we can get some good feedback on the UI and the design and make sure that everything's clear. And then it helps us really prioritize things. Another thing that we get from our users is whenever we're missing an event that's super dope, that we shouldn't be missing, they're going to let us know really quickly. For instance, much kind of to my surprise, I know mobile gaming esports is massive in China, India, Brazil. But a lot of like our Western viewers too have also been like asking about where's the mobile esports love. So that helps us prioritize where we're putting our resources there too, when it comes to aggregating all of the tournaments and events, and which games we're focusing on. So I think that's, I'm trying to rack my brain to think if there's like one crazy awesome feature that we had never thought of before. But no, I think like it's generally just really helpful for prioritizing, refining the product,
right?
And then deciding what events we need to add as well.
And now the calendar just got added on there, right? That's a newer feature that was just recently added.
Yeah, yeah. The calendar got a complete facelift redesign, and we just launched this last week the ability to search through the calendar and filter by your favorite games. So you can go to the calendar right now, and if you want to see everything in ESL One Pro League or whatever, you can just type ESL, and you're going to instantly see all of that. So yeah, we're adding new stuff all the time. So it's coming through the pipe.
And one thing we
Anything-
haven't even. No, go ahead, Anuj.
Let's say anything that you can give us a sneak peek on that's coming up next that people should be excited about.
Yes, preferences. We're working on it right now. So again, we're trying to find that delicate balance of like, how do we make Juked more catered to your tastes, but still be able to show you the dope shit if you might have missed it otherwise. So preferences are in the pipeline as we speak, and that's probably the biggest thing that we're working on right now.
So is
I mean,
that like?
yeah.
So I'm a user. So this is like self-interest now.
Yeah.
Because I even told Chris this would be dope. If like I could go in there and just say, rather than like saying like, okay, I prefer Counter-Strike and this game and that game in particular, but if I could just say, I just want to see all the top FPS games going on or all the top MOBA games going on. Is that the type of preferences we're talking about?
We're gonna do it by game and
Okay.
also by team. I think we've talked to a lot of users about and done some surveys and polls, and I don't think there's actually correlation between being a CS:GO fan and being a Call of Duty fan. I think there's actually probably negative correlation between being a League fan and
like
a
I
Dota
said,
fan.
we because we do this podcast, I think we're in
Yeah.
the minority. I think you're absolutely right though, because like Overwatch and Counter-Strike hate each other. Like
I wouldn't go that far,
it's
but
few and far between.
But there's like weird correlations too. Like League fans like tend to like Smash a lot, like little things like that we found, and
Yeah.
so
And that's all something that you guys kind of find in the background with your data of like what people are clicking on or whatnot.
yeah, and also just from even before we started working on Juked, we did a couple of surveys, and we're kind of looking at that data to help define what we built. But yes.
All right, that's interesting then. One other feature on the website too that we haven't even brought up, because obviously Juked, you guys kind of you feature the live events and everything there and aggregating it, but what's more important to me is the very organized VOD system. Like that right there, again, selfishly speaking from a podcaster's point of view, but even from just a fan's point of view, I don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. to watch the League of Legends finals. It's just I can go to Juked and go to the VOD, right?
You are one of the 5% of our users who are actually using VODs right now.
Really?
That's surprising to me.
Well, I may sound kind of like I'm not trying to be whiny. We have a lot of work
This
to do
is the
to
spot
like
to
improve our
whine.
UI.
Look, you can whine to our listeners and tell them to use the VOD. That's okay.
Yeah, you should use the VOD system because you can filter by game. We have a engine that kind of shows you the most relevant VODs, that just like whatever has the most views over the last couple of days. And you can search too. So you can search for your favorite teams, search for your tournaments. And yes, I think it's really good. And you're not the first person that said that to me. I've heard a couple of my friends have been like, dude, I love your VOD functionality. But the majority of people come to see what's live now. I think it's a UI challenge for us. Is like how do we especially when there aren't as many interesting live events. There's almost always something live, like literally
Right.
95% of 24 hours every day. There's something live, but maybe there are times where we do show VODs a little bit higher above the fold. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think too, probably like your standard esports fan probably aren't even used to like VODs being a thing, because they're not available like easily anywhere. Like you kind of have to look for them.
Yeah, I don't have any good data here. I think the majority of esports views happen live, but
Right.
my gut tells me that probably 35-40% of esports views are also on VODs, mainly on YouTube. But I think like YouTube just has this incredible automated recommendation engine, and I think that's how those happen. It's not really people like going to the ESL YouTube channel. They probably just watched enough Counter-Strike matches and then
That
it's
pops
probably
it
catches
up.
their front page.
recommending it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
funny that
And
you mentioned live events going on. For me, one of my biggest uses for Juked is when I don't know what I want to watch. When I don't know what's on, or I'm not looking for that particular event. The first thing I do is go to Juked and just let it kind of run. I mean, I let it show me what's going on rather than me like targeting a particular event. And that's been one of my favorite things to just constantly stay engaged. Like see what's going on, watch the next big event, or understand like, oh man, there's a StarCraft thing going on today. Like I never would have looked for it. I never would have went and clicked on the StarCraft tab should I have been on Twitch or whatever at the time looking for something. So that's really been one of my favorite things is I don't know what to watch. I don't know what I'm looking for. Let me turn this on and bam, I got 5 or 6 options right there that I can enjoy. So it's been great.
Yeah, I think there's two use cases that like two really common use cases for Juked. One is, oh, Worlds is going on this weekend. Instead of trying to remember twitch.tv/ blah blah blah, or I guess Worlds is not the best example because everyone knows about Worlds, but let's say it's like a
I'd say
Counter-Strike.
Smash tournaments.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
those are
Smash
perfect
tournament,
because that sometimes
Counter-Strike.
gets buried on Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the one use case is, hey, I remember, I think there's an event happening this weekend. Oh yeah, it's whatever Smash tournaments I know that was happening this weekend. Oh yeah, and also by the way, Smash tournaments do not announce what channel they're going to be streamed on until 2 days before. Believe me, I know this because I try to stay on top of this, and it's a pain. It's seriously so annoying. But it could be VG Bootcamp, it could be BTS Smash, it could be even Matchup Gaming, which is like a weird name for a channel. And you never know. So I think that's one use case is like, oh hey, I know this event is happening. I'm gonna just go to Juked because I know I'll find it there instantly. And then the other use case, which is exactly what you just said, is like, I'm bored. I'm on my lunch break. I'm home from work. It's Sunday morning, whatever, and I just want to find some entertainment. And hopefully, I think we're solving for both of those use cases pretty well at this point.
One thing that just made me think of this is there going to be a mobile app for Juked at any point?
Yes. I don't know when.
You made me
But
think of it when you
yes.
just said work, so I was like, oh yeah, that's actually
Yes.
way
Definitely
to go.
yes. We the website works. It's mobile friendly. Ish. Not 100% mobile friendly, but we're getting there. But yeah, we definitely need to build an app as well.
Dark mode, that's got to be like high on the list of people requesting, right?
It's up there. It's definitely up there.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
You give me dark mode and like I'm set. Like Chris kept asking me, he's like, "Well, what do you want on the website?" I'm like, "Chris, I don't know. The website's already pretty stinking convenient for me. Like, you've won me over. I don't know what else you want from me." Maybe a podcast section with aggregated podcasts. You're just throwing it out there. Maybe like a news section. Right?
We're working on podcasts for sure.
Hey, perfect. Let us know if you need any suggestions. I know one. Real quick, to back away from Jute, because I would hate to have you on the show and not ask about this topic. Given your resume, right? You have pretty much been in the esports, the streaming world from the beginning. What are your thoughts or your takeaways then with this recent Mixer buying away Twitch streamers and YouTube taking away Twitch streamers? Like, is that going to be kind of that new norm where these top streamers sign on to websites? Or I'm just curious on your opinion on that.
Oh man, it's you can go way back to the early days of Twitch, before Twitch was super dominant in gaming streaming. We had a competitor called Own3D, and Own3D's thing was like they had really good quality of service in Europe, and like Twitch didn't. And back then it was like 50-50. Like Twitch basically gobbled up all of Ustream, live streams, like streamers way back when, but there was a long time where it was the content wars between Twitch and Own3D. And problem with Own3D was they didn't own any of their own infrastructure. So they were both spending a ton of money to acquire content, and it was way more expensive for them than it was for us in the early days of Twitch. But now you've got this situation where you've literally got the 4 biggest tech companies in the country. I mean, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, literally, like, it's worth repeating that over and over again. It's like It's not Mixer, it's Microsoft. It's not Twitch,
Right.
it's Amazon.
Yeah.
It's not
that's,
YouTube, it's
that's,
Google.
That's really who's paying these guys, right? It's not Mixer isn't writing the checkout. It's Microsoft.
Yeah. So you've got the biggest war chests imaginable to play with when it comes to acquiring all these content creators, and I think it's a good thing for the creators. Obviously, I think if you go back throughout the last 9 years or 8.5 years since Twitch launched, everyone who went to another platform always came back. Always. Like they would always lose a bunch of viewers, and once the contract was up, they'd go back. But I think we're at a point where that's not going to be the case anymore. I think Mixer is a more credible threat than anyone gives them credit for, and YouTube is doing better and better than ever. And I think there's room for multiple competitors in this space. So it kind of, I mean, it's not great for consumers because I'd rather just find all of my favorite content creators in one place, and that's truly been the case for live streaming for a while now.
For a long time,
yeah. Not to say that YouTube hasn't made plays; they surely have. Like MLG, does anyone remember MLG.TV?
Yeah.
But I think we're at a place where it's going to stick, and we're going to see those streamers probably stay for a long, long time, and I think that's okay. I think it's fine. Yeah. It's not happening in esports. That's the funny part. Is like
right. Well, we like Facebook tried doing it with ESL and it just completely backfired with them. Like they just got
a disaster.
A fraction of the viewers.
ECS I think did it with YouTube there for a bit.
For a little bit.
Doing it, but yeah.
Yes.
Now the positive side is that if it does cross over to esports, there's Juked, and that's how we wrap it all up. We all bring it back. If it does ever get that way, it doesn't matter who ESL or ECS or anyone signs with now, because eventually you guys will be able to kind of put them all together in one nice package at juke.gg.
Yes. So I don't have any horses in this race, but if
you bet on all of them, like that's
if
you're hedging your bets right now.
If YouTube goes out and acquires another CSGO tournament exclusively or Mixer or whatever, that's only like that makes our value proposition even more apparent. But yes.
Excellent. Well, Ben, I wanted to thank you again for coming on the show. Like I said, we're big fans of the product, so we're happy to have you on at any time. If you guys ever make another big release, you want to come out and tell our listeners about it, just hit us up. We'd love to have you. Again, for our listeners, you already know the website, but just in case I need to remind you, it's juked, JUKED.GG. You can make an account there, but you don't really have to, just to watch it. But I'm sure once those preferences and everything drop, that's when you'll really want to have an account.
You'll want to. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, dude.
Once again, thank you to Ben of juked.gg for coming on the show, giving us his little insight on the whole Twitch Mixer battle. Pretty cool to hear from someone who's been around the block a few times in that industry. And also just to kind of see, like, I really, it almost seems illegal what they're doing, to be honest with you, but I guess it's not taking away viewers from Twitch. They're still getting the numbers. It's just all embedded videos. So I guess it's okay. I guess.
It works for me.
Hey, look, I don't care what you do, right? You can be illegal as you want as long as I get to go to one website and see everything. So, again, juke.gg is where you want to go to check that out. All right, last night, Anuj, we had the pleasure, the honor of attending the Esports Awards. It was all the talk of the town. They rolled out the red carpet. I assume for us, like I assume the red carpet was rolled out for us. And then it was like Dr. Disrespect and Hex and Nade Shot. And I'm assuming then all those guys just kind of showed up and walked on it. No one wanted to tell them, hey, don't walk on the red carpet. It's for TCR. But it was pretty neat.
Our night consisted basically of, okay, guys, like no more pictures, no interviews, no interviews. Like that's what I felt like I said most of the night.
Yeah, which sucks because you don't want to be that guy. right?
No.
I always thought when I always said, when we become the #1 esports podcast, I don't want to be that guy who looks down on people, but it's hard not looking down when you're so high up. It's just kind of the natural way of doing things. But for real, it was a pretty incredible night. It was out in Arlington, which we live 20, 30 minutes away from. So it's at the Arlington Esports Stadium. Talked about that before. We'll actually be there in 2 weeks for the ECS final. So if you're going to that, hit us up. That stadium, I swear, every time I go to it, I appreciate it a little more because it really does make any event look good.
The stage is so nice. Like it's so properly, it's like well designed. The seating I feel like is good from anywhere in the house. Like it's not too big, right? Like it seats a decent amount. I feel like it seats about what 3,000-4,000.
They tell us every stinking time we're there. I know last night was a sellout. Now last night the seating was different because half of it was for tables. There was probably about 500 public tickets sold. But the rest was all roped off. Yeah, it wasn't a ton of public seating, but that was just kind of a cool thing to where if you're in the area and you wanted to see these people, I'm sure it was neat, right? To see celebrities like us. It was just kind of neat for them. But
Tim and I were sitting up in the
we were up in the balcony, looking
down.
Yeah,
like a balcony view, looking down at everyone.
We were on the balcony looking down. I would like to think that's where they stuck the important people, not the not important people. But that's what I'm going to tell myself anyway. It was really kind of a who's who. So I don't know, Nuge, if you wanted to just talk about the event real quick, and then we can run through some of the winners, some of the highlights. I got some audio I wanted to play from some people's speeches and everything like that.
No, I mean, the event itself, I mean, just, again, Tim's right. Like, it was a who's who of the esports world. You had big name, like, tournament organizer officials there. I mean, you had politicians. I think, like, several mayors from, some of the, I guess, the Mayors Association is what they called it.
I didn't even know
was
that
there,
existed.
But it was like a lot of politicians
like the National
in-house.
Mayors Association.
Team owners were there, and then obviously you had content creators and players. And from the player side, I felt like the most visible players that were there were from the COD community. You had Scump, Kenny,
Simp.
A Simp obviously was there and took home an award. And I think that was kind of like the big name crew was really from the COD side. At least that's the feel that I got from it.
Yeah. Yeah, and my opinion on award shows it's a torn opinion. I think they're neat. I think it's important to address people who deserve recognition, right? Like a lot of people in this industry work really hard, and to get an award and everything like that, I think that's wonderful. At the same time, this is fan voted, it's fan nominated. I think 25% of the winner is fan, and then 75% or something like that is by a panel. So it's not 100%, but fan votes have a lot to do with it, right? Like the content creator of the year, I won't lie, never heard of him. I've never heard of Minilad before in my life, and yet he wins content creator of the year at the Esports Awards. So I go to his YouTube, and he doesn't really look that esportsy to me. So, it's not my award show. They're not asking for my opinion on how to run it, but I hope one day when esports is truly as big as we think it will be, we can filter out some of these non-esports people at the Esports Awards. Like, I guess I'm indifferent, right? Because I think streamers are cool that they're there, but I also feel like Dr. Disrespect does a little bit more for the esports scene. Like he's big into that Code Red, and that's like tournaments held and everything like that. But to start the show right off the bat with Cosplayer of the Year, Anuj, do you care about Cosplayer of the Year at the Esports Awards? Am I being a negative Nancy right now? Am I being a big jerk? Just tell me if I am.
I don't understand where the tie-in comes for the two. Again, like it just feels like a gaming show award to me when you do stuff like that. Like, hey, this is like, because then it makes sense, right? Like if this is just a game show award, and all things related to gaming, right? Like, so best publisher, best game, this and that, then yeah, cosplay to me makes sense. But for an esports award show, I don't understand the correlation there. I mean, maybe they dress up, maybe their cosplays are only of
But they're not.
characters in esports
They're not-
games.
Even
but
the
yeah,
winner was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd be here." And it's like, yeah, no, you didn't. You know why? Because you don't do esports. You're a cosplayer. Why would you think you'd ever be at the Esports Awards? I didn't
Yeah.
think you'd be here. But
the only thing
here we
esports
are.
about the cosplay was sneaky, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
who does that
he
we
should have
say?
won.
He's a pro
He should
player.
have been like unanimous, a pro player who's also a cosplayer. Like,
And they had like
he should
20
win.
nominations for
Dude.
a lot of these, which also felt a little ridiculous. Again, like the fan vote, I get it. Like, hey, it works for like
Like, here for
Nickelodeon.
cosplay,
It,
so let's
it
see.
works for, different events. So the fan
10
vote,
nominees.
yeah, it's a lot.
Ugh,
Like a
there's
lot
a
of
lot.
nominees. The fan vote doesn't bother me as much. I do think it does take away in the sense of like it's not the Oscars then, right? It's not voted on by like
Right. It turns
people
in
that are in the
somewhat of a
industry.
popularity contest. A little bit. Like
is.
I said, at the end, it's not 100% fan voted, but,
I do think part of it, again, like I mean, all the winners for the events or for each of the categories happen to be the ones that were at the event too. I thought that was a little unique. I don't really understand how that works. Like,
I think there was
maybe-
one or two that weren't there and they had like the
And, like,
video in, but we
from
were
what
told...
we hear, they don't know ahead of time.
Yeah, we
Like-
were told the winners don't know, but it's like Anuj said, also somewhat odd that the only people that show up are the winners.
Yeah.
So
And like it makes sense for them to want to go then, right? If they know they're being honored at this event, you get them to
Of
come.
course.
It's like good to have these names there, obviously.
Well, and that's the
Um,
other thing. It's also somewhat suspicious that I think the reason that there are so many nominees is because the more nominees you have, the more people you have tweeting out about it. And the
promoting
more
it.
people tweeting out, the more eyeballs are going to see. If you only had 4 nominees, well, the only people then who are going to tweet out about, hey, go check out the Esports Awards, I'm there, are the 4 people nominated for that category. But,
Well-
Anuj, if we can put in 10 people, well, right there, you just instantly like upped your visibility.
And make it fan voted, right? So now you have to tweet out to your audience to vote
Right.
for you.
Right.
Like it makes more sense. So again, I get why they do it that way. It's like, is it the way I would do it? No, but do they care about my opinion? Like, no. So it takes away from it a little bit, but still a cool celebration, right? Like we did see
Yeah,
a lot
of
of the
course.
biggest names there, and it was neat to see.
And that's
you know,
the point
the
of it, right?
Lifetime
The point
Achievement
of it
Awards.
is to celebrate the industry that we work in, the industry we love, and to give it kind of back to the fans. And
Yeah.
I like the Oscars, right? Some people love the Oscars because they get to see, kind of the celebrity world get together and enjoy it. So I just think if you're the type of person who likes awards show, it's pretty badass. If you're the type of person that doesn't care, well, it's an award show. Like,
Yeah.
they don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's an award show. But you know what? Maybe next year when we're nominated and the TCR fan base votes us in, then maybe it will change their mind. I guess we would fall under content creator. They don't have like a podcast category, so I guess we'd be content creator. In fact, why don't next year our listeners just write us in every category just to play it safe, and then let the committee figure out where to put us.
Even cosplay. Throw those in
Even-
there. Why not?
Bro, I'll dress up. I could do Tracer or something like that. Widowmaker. I could easily do that.
Like Roadhog or something. But yeah.
So yeah. No, I thought it was a great night. That doesn't mean that there wasn't some cringeworthy moments and things to point out. I did ask Discord about this, Anuj. I guess on stream, it didn't seem as chaotic and sporadic. I will say this. Inside the building, there were a lot of moments where me and Anuj looked at each other and were like, what the hell's going on? Like, they would call for people and they wouldn't show up on stage, and then audio would start playing, but there's no video going on. And it's just seemed kind of chaos. I'm sure the onstage
Well, it
production...
kind of got smoother as time went on. The first like 30, first of all, the first 30 minutes it was delayed,
Yeah.
in house, but then the next 30 minutes of actually when it was live didn't seem to sync up. Like they asked for somebody to come out on stage to give out an award.
And they
The
never
two
show
individuals
up.
didn't come until after the award was basically being presented. So some of that stuff ended up being cleared up as the night went on and cleaned up.
So I have here, I have some audio to play. This is for Esports Cosplayer of the Year. This was presented by, damn, I'm forgetting their name. The stage host, the girl from Call of Duty. I don't know her name.
Soj? You're talking about Soj? Or
I don't know. Like the black-haired chick. If anyone watches Call of Duty, you know who I'm talking about. Sorry, I don't know your name. I don't pay attention. And then Sonic Fox, the bane of my existence. So here's some audio as they come up there, and just tell me if it goes well with the crowd.
Y'all know who I is.
And I'm Jess.
And we're here to do the Esports Cosplayer of the Year award. Oh, is that the trophy right there?
We already had dinner.
No fun. Oh my gosh. All of y'all are beautiful out here. How's it going today? Y'all having a good time?
Oh, watch out.
My nose is too big for this. Why didn't I get nominated for this award? I'm running a good cosplayer, aren't I?
What are you cosplaying as?
Trans rights, what do you mean?
Oh.
Come on. Look at that. Too political, I'm sorry. Why don't you send us off, Jess?
Boop.
And the awards are, or the nominees are,
Esports Cosplay of the Year.
It hurts. Please help. Send help.
Man, now some of that audio is so quiet because Sonic Fox, of course, showed up in full Sonic Fox furry get out. So he's talking through the mask and everything. So that was already rough as is. But man, that was not like, I edited some of it down just to cut it out, right? But like, I didn't make certain parts quiet. It was literally the reaction you heard after their jokes was the exact reaction in-house. You could hear a pin drop after that.
You were nervous to like cough or fart at that point.
Like, and then he's like wearing a trans, I guess a trans flag, like the trans rights movement. I have no problem with that. Like, I am 100% on board with that. But just when he was like, oh, I'm cosplaying as trans right.
Nothing. Crickets.
Nothing.
Crickets.
Like, I guess he was hoping for a reaction and it just didn't happen. And then that just makes him more nervous because he's like, uh-oh, I was hoping for a clap. Anyone
He's right,
back
though.
me up.
He should have been nominated. He could have won, in my opinion, right? Like, that would have made sense to me.
Again, it's the Esports Awards and you're in a cosplay category. Throw up anyone close to being a cosplayer. Like, he should be up there. But then again, maybe that offends the furry community. Maybe furries don't consider themselves cosplayers because the furry is a part of you.
Oh, Lord. Let's move on.
For longtime listeners of the show, I really dislike Sonic Fox for obvious reasons, right? I don't care that he's trans. I don't care that he's gay or bisexual or straight or whatever the hell he is. And I don't care about anything else. I can't get around the furry. And you know what? I don't care if it's 2019. I don't care if it's 2020. I don't care if it's, the year 3000. Not going to happen. I can not wrap my brain around it. And when right off the stinking bat, you show up with him on the stage. Like, everyone's like, hell yeah, the Esports Awards, let's do this. And then he walks up on stage on that. My head just dropped.
Tim was triggered 6 seconds into the show. I saw him come up on stage and I was like, oh, here we go. I lost him. We haven't even started the night.
No, my head dropped in defeat and I was like, God,
Sonic Fox has a table and we don't.
And this is right after the, HBox was like, yeah, the FGC is officially esports now. And then here's Sonic Fox walking out there like, hey guys, what's up? And it's like, kill me. Kill me now. But that being said, Sonic Fox makes it also hard to hate him because he does a lot for the community. He is like one of the nicest dudes in esports, right? So,
and he's awesome at gaming.
Yeah, well, and he's like top tier, right? Which doesn't help my situation when he's on like the stadium podium, whatever, trying to get a medal around his stupid mask. But what award did he? So he ended up winning Console Player of the Year. Rightfully so. I mean, he wins like pretty much any FGC events that he is in. And here's his speech. It's about, I edited some of these out here, but if we're going to make fun of him, I think it's only right that we also play his speech for him, just because I think it's important for him, and I think it's important when you're on this stage to take your moment and kind of say your part. So this is Sonic Fox after he won Console Player of the Year.
The entirety of high school and up to pretty much earlier this year, I struggled with heavy depression and mental health issues, essentially. And like, there's definitely moments in my life where I was like, fuck it, I want to end it, right? Like, straight up, I want to just straight up end it. But a lot of my friends like had helped me out so much. You guys have no idea. But I wanted to say, like, be there for each other. I mean, like, a lot of people like to make fun of this cringe culture kind of stuff, and I'm like, enjoy yourself. Like, life's too short to like not have fun, Like, I don't like it when people are like, oh, sorry. I've never been a fan of the people who like make fun of people for like just enjoying the things that they like. Like, growing up, I struggled a lot being myself because like people were just mean to me. Like, I never wanted to come out as gay and queer to people because like I was very scared. But as I grew up with these friends and people, they changed my entire life. And when I realized that when I got put into the spotlight that I was an influencer for a bunch of other people to be themselves, I figured that like I want to like, even if it was just one person, it's enough for me to know that what I'm doing is right. But all in all, for me, finally taking on some medication earlier this year and really, really having a brand new outlook on life, I want to use this platform to say, definitely talk to the people. There's people out there for you always, and there are people there for me, and I probably wouldn't be standing there if I didn't have the people that loved me. So treat each other with love and respect, all right? Also, trans rights.
So there's that. And
He did a good job.
exactly. Like, can't disagree. Now, he took off the mask, right? Which that always helps being taken serious. Right. I think, and that's my problem is like with Sonic Fox, it's like you want to take him serious, but then at the same time, he's wearing a fox outfit. Like, and let's be real, I think the majority of the people can't take that serious. So, yeah, I mean, I thought that was great. I thought his speech was right on point.
One of the more meaningful ones of the night for sure. I mean, it wasn't just thanking
Oh my
friends and
gosh, I
family.
didn't
There
know I was going to be here.
a meaning behind it, and it's always a good message. And he's 100% right. I mean, there's so much toxicity nowadays in the community, not just esports, like in the world in general. So
I mean,
you have an opportunity to be
world,
nice,
right?
and
Like,
yeah, you can't even imagine like how
his
rough
own
that's
org
got to be.
was part of it, right?
A nightmare.
Being a part
Yeah.
of EchoFox.
So good on him for taking that opportunity to spread a good message, and we just need more of that. So
Yep, 100%. Agreed. Now, I guess, did you want to just kind of go through some of these awards? Like,
Those are
what
some
are
of the
some of
big
your
ones,
highlights?
I think obviously Streamer of the Year going to Doc. We mentioned it earlier, but he's just so well respected. Even though he's one of the few people that I could say went through a nightmare scenario, right, with the whole fiasco of obviously cheating on his wife. I mean, something that's never condoned, and you lose a lot of respect from a lot of people for doing something like that.
Mhm.
And to rebound the way he did, because remember the year that happened, he had just come off winning Streamer of the Year. Ninja
It's like
won
a
it
month or
last year.
so, like right after.
Yeah, like
I mean,
right
he
after.
was on
right after.
top of it.
And he was on top of the world at that point. And so for him to rebound the way he did and come back out on top, I thought was really meaningful. And
I mean, you got to think to his year too. Like, had the affair, owned up to it on stream, worked it out with his wife, which I will never judge any couple that can work it out, right? I think that's always
Yeah.
ideal, especially when you have a kid.
especially with the kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, some people are like, can't believe they're still together. I'm like, well, I don't really care.
They have a
anyways,
4-year-old dude. Yeah.
right. Like not our place. His house got shot at, right? Remember that?
Yep.
They were pregnant and unfortunately aren't anymore. So to have that type of year and then to win Streamer of the Year for a second time, I think it's just the whole room. Like, he got like one of the biggest cheers when they announced his name. I have a clip of his speech if you would like to hear it.
Yeah. You know, one thing about Doc before you play that I thought was pretty cool and just kind of fill people in is everybody that was attending the event was about 15 feet from the section where the general public came in. And so the general public was really close to where all these personalities and
It's
content
like an
creators and all
aisle
that were.
separating them, like
Yeah.
a walkway.
I mean, very, very close. Though. I mean, like within 10, 15 feet. Doc was the only one that I recall that actually went out to the fan section, took photos with a ton of fans, signed autographs, met with people that wanted to meet with them. And so I thought that was really neat and didn't go unnoticed by, I know both of us saw that and were like, thought that was pretty cool. And so props to him for taking a moment to do that, because that's a big part of why all of us are where we are, whether it's a small position like Tim and I hold or a big spot where, where Doc is sitting at top.
Whether it's us meeting 3 of our listeners at BlizzCon, like, I want our listeners to know, like, when we meet you, like, and you're saying, dude, thanks for doing the show. Like, I think that's funny that you're thanking me because you're the only reason we're doing it. Like, thank you for listening. And I will say this too, because Anuj is nicer than me. If we're going to give props to Doc, I'm going to say shame on everyone else in that room that didn't go meet the fans. Right? Like, if you want to call out some names, but like pretty much everyone but Doc's, you had Hex there, you had people from, I mean, even Envy, right? The Envy table, a lot of these tables, 100 Thieves, Nate Shot, like I said, it wasn't like the public area was huge. This was the time to really go over there, break bread, say hi to your fans. And I just think it's a shame that they didn't do it as much. Now, maybe they did, and we just didn't see it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Doc just had a good moment where we were both noticed it. But for the most part, I think Doc was the only one that I saw that really went out of his way to say hi.
It's safe to say most people didn't do it, whether we were there the whole time or not. Like, I would say most didn't go
and
over
I mean
there.
to go over to them, not you walk by them outside and then they go, hey, and you say hi and take a quick picture. I mean, really walk over there and say hi. That's what I mean. So here's a clip of Doc's speech here.
And last but not least, my wife, the mom of our 4.5-year-old sweet daughter who just holds it down. You're such a strong balance in our life. Whether I'm coming heated off of Modern Warfare, and I need to calm down. You're right there, and you're such an amazing individual. You've got a ball of just energy that is just undescribable, and I just appreciate you so much, and I love you so much. And
and then he goes on to kind of say about how, he just appreciates the opportunity that he has to play with some of the best gamers in the world and everything there. But again, I don't know. I have a soft spot for Doc. Like, I think he's great.
Yeah, 100% agree. He's exactly what you would want out of somebody that's creating content and making it fun. Like, he does a good job of doing both, right? Being competitive and being fun, right? He's not the best at gaming, but he's very good. And he puts on a show for you nonstop, and he doesn't stop. So I thought that was a cool one. Another one that stood out to me, Tim, was just as an organization as a whole. I think 100 Thieves came out really good, right? Courage was number 2. I think the second highest voted person for Streamer of the Year. Nade Shot won Personality of the Year. Logan Dodson for 100 Thieves won Video Editor of the Year.
They were third overall for Organization of the Year.
Yeah, so I thought 100 Thieves came out looking really good. What a year for them, just in terms of growth and merch sales, and the organization just kind of being kind of plastered all over social media.
They've been in org for like 2 years, and yet I guess just with the people behind it, they just feel like they've been around for forever.
Yeah, and they're everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
They really are, and so I thought that was good, and, you want me to mention another highlight that I had in
Yeah.
terms of I thought Riot Games, surprising a little bit, like, I think this is where the fan vote, to me, kicked in a little bit more, um, because Riot won what did they win? So they won
Well, they won
Game
Esports
Developer of the Year.
Game of the Year, League of Legends won.
Yep, they
And then
won
Publisher of the
Publisher
Year,
of the
they
Year.
won.
They got 3 things though, so I'm not sure what the third one is. This list actually doesn't have them all on that I'm looking at right now, but they did win another one as well. So for them to like still be winning these awards 10 years in, it was Event of the Year is what it was. So they also won like Esports Event of the Year
Okay.
for Worlds, and so that's quite a night for them. I mean, again, these guys have one game. It was they mentioned in their speech, keep an eye out for next year. They're finally putting the S in Riot Games. I would have liked to have seen some other
It's a bit odd that
winners
the
for-
year that you
for-
win, you say, no, next year is the year you want to watch us. It's like
Publisher
okay.
of the Year. I would think it'd be cool if it went to like a new IP or something that came out, or a new iteration of something. But again, I mean, not a big knock. Riot's hard to knock, other than some of the drama that they have going on behind the scenes. But in terms of a game developer, they've done a good job, and they've remained at the top. So, I thought they cleaned up nicely at the awards as well.
Mm-hmm. One award that I always find super odd at this event, and I think it's here for one reason and one reason only, and that's just to appease the sponsors, is Commercial Partner of the Year. Like, that seems very odd that we're giving HyperX won that.
Okay.
Intel won something. What
Well,
did
even
Intel win?
supporting agency
Intel
of
won
the year.
Hardware Provider of the Year, which again, super weird. Oh, I don't understand those categories other than for the sake of promotion. Like, you just want to include these people.
And supporting agency of the year. I mean, I guess again, these are more like recognized for people that are doing good for the esports industry.
Yeah,
I think it's a unique award.
It's kind of a way
in
of just
general.
saying thank you, I
Yeah,
think, rather
yeah.
than you're the best. It's just we appreciate you noticing us type of thing. Journalist of the Year was a big one. It's kind of like one of the bigger ones of every year. Richard Lewis ended up winning that again. I have a bit of his speech. I'll play it. I don't want to play the full thing just because it is a tad longer, just for the sake of where we're at with the show. But I did think he did a very good job of it.
To be my mic stand. There's a few things I wanted to say. I know people have kept the speeches short. I'll try and do the same shit. I just want to say that I don't consider good journalism a competitive endeavor. I do consider, if you will accept it, I'm up here taking this award for everybody else in my field. There were some great names there. I'm real sorry it wasn't you guys. You will get your time. I got 2 of these. I won't get
I think he's
another
talking
one.
to us there.
So anyway,
I think he
what I
looked
always
up
want to talk
at
about is
us
why
and
this
said
award's
that.
important. Not my award that I won, because that would be narcissistic. All our awards, because we have to look after ourselves. Because there's these external media companies, they're looking at esports, and they want to write the history, and they want to tell the stories. And you know who I'm talking about? Polygon, people like that, Waypoint, the Kotakus, right? And their approach to writing about our thing is twofold. They've consistently embarrassed themselves writing pieces that expose their complete ignorance about our scene, lack of sources, and unoriginal opinions on topics we have talked to death for 20 years. The second has been to write hit pieces and
Not holding back anything. And you know, that's one of the things I love about Richard Lewis, right? Kind of the double-edged sword, because sometimes I think he goes a little too far, but at the same time, you can't go a little too far and not be where he's at, you know. So I you know what? I 100% agree with him, is that you do have a lot of these outlets that I think for years kind of spoke ill about gaming and esports, and now you do see them pop up, right? Or you have these big companies that all of a sudden create an esports persona, and it's like, where have you been this entire time? And you know, like, even for us in Utrecht, we've been approached by some companies out there who want to do things, and it's just like, you got to do it the right way or no way. it's just people know. Like they know who you've been and where you've been from, and I just love the fact that he calls out some of those journalists or those outlets out there that all of a sudden try to act like they know what they're talking about or
Like
that
they've been
here
around
the
forever.
whole time.
They see the money, and then all of a sudden now they're part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very cool. Richard Lewis getting Journalist of the Year. Let's see here. Booga ended up winning 2 awards, the PC Player of the Year and PC Rookie of the Year. Now, I know the PC Player of the Year was kind of like, it seemed like the CS community got pissed because they were, who was up in the PC player?
Device was on there from
Device.
CSGO. Simple was on there from CSGO. Twist was on there from CSGO.
Yeah, so I think they were really expecting to have some CSGO presence. But look, bros, I hate to break it to you, but when the winner of the first Fortnite World Cup is up for the award, and it broke literally every record possible for an esports event being viewed, and it was on national news and talk shows, and CSGO was never going to win that category to begin with. I don't know why people thought they were. Like, again, this is an award show, and there's some, like, storylines written. Like, I'm sure even the the console or the council who votes for this, the academy, if you will, were like, we got to give it to Booga.
It was just too big. It was too big of a story, and it was all over the place. And it's deserving. It was the first of its kind. It was, I mean, it's just so big in terms of money and the production that was put on for it. You know, to me, it's not a big shocker, and I think he deserved it. I think he deserved both awards, Rookie of the Year, to come out and show how he did it on that level at that age. And then what he accomplished was just as big as what any veteran accomplished. So I think in both categories, it makes sense.
Yep. And last one that I want to bring up is Console Rookie of the Year with Simp. And the only reason I bring this up is because did you see his speech? It's the most simp speech I've ever seen. That dude, even after winning Worlds, just looks like he is confused to be there. And it was the same thing here. He just looked so lost on stage giving his victory speech. I absolutely love it. He looks like a kid that was just going to high school, accidentally became a pro because he's really good at the game, and now he's here. Like, all these other guys are just so cocky and arrogant, and he just looks like he really just wants to go and play games again. Like, he's like, thank you. So I just love that. And again, from what I'm told, the Esports Awards are going to be back in Arlington for the next 2 or 3 years. So we'll go back next year, maybe have our own little category there that we'll be nominated for one day, Anuj. But overall though, I did have a lot of fun. It was a different esports event to get dressed up for. I promise you, I've never had to do that.
Walking on the red carpet was pretty cool.
Yep. It was nice. It was a nice event for sure. But do you have anything else you want to say?
No, that's good.
Let's get on to some e-news then, shall we?
Got a fun one here. We got a little bit of a busy, tried to busy it up for you guys because there weren't, I feel like, too many big topics going on, but we did have ESL Pro League. The finals are around the corner. There are no Odense, Denmark coming up December 3rd. On the EU side, we had 4 new qualifiers here, Tim, that advanced. Fnatic and FaZe both knocked their spot in, knocking out Vitality and Hellraisers. Important to note, Vitality not getting a spot in the ESL Pro League obviously hurts. A top 5 team not being involved is never a good thing. And then G2 and North did it a couple of days ago, also knocking out another big name. Nip not being involved in Pro League, and Big as well not making it. So we will see.
Ironically, Big is not the big name there.
Yeah, no, they will not be. And this will be beginning of December. We'll do some full coverage on this as it gets a little closer. Also, this weekend we had DreamHack Atlanta going on. We had some representation out there and heard it was a good time. And we had Heroic beating Sprout in the DreamHack Atlanta Open. So good on Heroic getting their DreamHack win of the year in and under their belt. Tim, this one's a little bit more under your watch? You know, I want to hear your
Jane-
thoughts on this.
Jane, assistant coach of the Dallas Fuel, steps down from the coaching role and becomes more of a content creator for the team. It was surprising when you read it, but then you're like, well, you know what? He had that issue earlier in the year where he stepped away from social media and kind of did some self-focusing and all that. I just think where he's at right now mentally in life and everything, it's just this is probably the right move for him.
And it's a move that you had kind of called for before anyway, isn't it? That you thought a change on...
Look, I thought the Fuel were suffering from a coaching staff point of view. I think Jane is... arrogant isn't the right word, but it's the word I'm going to use. He's very full of himself. He definitely likes to hear himself and hear his opinion, and that's what I think. And with not being the main coach, I would assume that doesn't fit well with the team's chemistry wise. So, you know, I think it's great that he's still a content creator for the team. I think it's the best of both worlds. And I think overall the Fuel are going to benefit from this, to not have a voice like that in the room that constantly is trying to, I don't know, like I get the idea that he kind of belittles people when he talks about it. So maybe it's different on the pro level, but yeah, either way, he's no longer the assistant coach. And then finally, we see the Immortals organization sell off the last bit of their Houston Outlaws franchise to the Beasley Media Group. That's been in the works for ever now. So we'll finally be able to see Houston Outlaws actually have an ownership and a team willing to pay people. You know, that was one of the struggles that their coaching staff and their GM was saying, is like, you know, how can you have expectations for this team? We literally have no budget we're working with here.
We're mid-sale. Like, how is it supposed to work?
So, excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, and then in Call of Duty, we saw some pretty cool pictures. So we saw Paris's home arena that they're going to be playing in. Tim, we got to tweet this out. This was something to see.
Unbelievable.
This is a amazing looking piece of architecture.
Not built for them, but definitely not a bad rent either.
I mean, it just looks like one of the cooler stadiums I've seen, or venues
looks like an
in
art
general.
Museum. Like from the outside, you almost feel bad that there's just going to be a bunch of sweaty nerds inside.
No, I agree. Definitely one of the cooler venues I think I have seen to date. So everybody else is going to have to bring their A game, because that's definitely winning my award right now for
100%. 100%. This Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, November 23rd, I am happy to say it will be our first Community Night. Thank you, Jazzy Josh, for the name there. So Anuj and I will be on this Saturday, 9 p.m. Central Time. If you play Call of Duty, hit us up on Discord under the Looking for Group category. Put in your information. Doesn't matter if you're PC, Xbox, PS4. We'll add you. We'll play. Ideally, I would like to get 10 people so we can do a 10-man. If we have less, we'll just run some pugs on people and dominate and go from there. But either way, hit us up and we'll rotate people out if we have to. But we just want to play with as many listeners as we can. We'll be on all night for some Call of Duty. Loving the crossplay. Loving it. That's one thing they did right.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm able to play with so many friends that I haven't played with in a long time.
Yeah,
so
love it. Love it. And
crossplay is one of the better features. Yeah, really is. Really is. We had Nip. Nip are our Paladin World Champions, Tim. What do you think about that?
Me, you're the Nip fan. Like, this has to be a highlight for you. I mean, Paladin World Champion.
They don't have Get Right anymore. I am homeless at the moment. Phase up. I mean, whoever needs me, I'm available. Let me know. But yeah, Nip taking home the cup for Paladin's World Champions, and
that's cool.
something to share. And then big news, guys. Cool. Big news. We have an official release date for Halo Reach. That is right around the corner. That will be December 3rd. So we're just a few weeks out.
They dropped that one on us, huh? I wasn't expecting
the
that.
Holidays.
And we were saying too, like, we were just having a conversation the other day, like, when is this game gonna come out, bro? Like, they announced it forever ago. They said the holidays, and there's December 3rd.
I'm excited for it. I'm also real. It's not a game I played a ton of, so I know I'm gonna get worked by all
You
the
have, yeah,
the
I was gonna
sweaties
say
in there.
it's gonna be different for you because it
Yeah.
really the way you approach Halo is not like it's not a run and gun shooter. Like you just
Yeah.
can't do it. It's all about positioning and I mean just knowing the game, and you are way behind because you just never played the game really. And
Yeah, so
a lot
that'll
of the
be.
people.
You know what though? I'm still excited for it.
It's weird though, because like
one
I've
step-
never met anyone that's just like I never played Halo before. So like you
Again,
are fresh.
I've played it, but like under 50 hours lifetime of Halo has been like played in my life, right? Which I feel like is nothing in terms of
Oh god,
our
yeah.
gaming lifespan.
I was putting in
like
50 a week.
it was like going to friends' houses and playing casually over there. But again, excited for it. It's one step closer in my mind to Halo Infinite, which we expect to see at the end of next year when they launch the new Xbox system. So that's the game I'm really waiting for. But these are like all good fillers for me, a way to get back into it, understand the storyline, and I hear the campaign's pretty good too. So that's just something that
That's
I'm
the ideal part, right?
co-op
and
slightly
campaign,
excited
man.
about to go mess around with.
Looking forward to it and seeing how that breaks out in the esports scene now. Just one more game we got to follow, Nuge. What are we going to do with our time?
Hey, it's good. All business is good.
3
business.
episodes a week, starting December 3rd. Just Halo.
Just Halo.
Now that we should get an esports award for if we could do that. If we could pull that off. But that does it for this episode of The Center Ring, a.k.a. TCR, a.k.a. your favorite esports podcast, episode 192. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. If you listened to the whole thing or skipped around, love you all the same. We will be back Thursday for some more esports fun. We'll see what happens in between now and then. Of course, follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Let us know what you think on iTunes. If you listen through that, leave us a review. Our Discord, you can find on our website, tcr.gg. Let us know if you want to be a part of COD Mutiny Night. Get it? So we will be that. That is this Saturday. And realistically, guys, if you just see us on ever, just let us know. But this is just, I have the time off. I could schedule with my wife, and I could tell you for sure I will be there. Yeah, I think that's it. So
let us know what you think of the interview with Ben. I know,
yes.
For a lot of people, should be something fun for y'all to tune into, and another tool for y'all to use to just consume esports. So something really cool. But let us know what you think of the interview. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it.
Excellent. All right, Anuj. That's it. Thanks. Blame Anuj. We went past the ending music, so now it's awkward. It's silence. See you next week. All right.
Awesome.
Boom.
Beautiful.
192 done. In the books. Saving it now. Downloads done. All right, homies in the chat. Thank you for stopping by. Catch you later.